I want to share some insights into the salivary gland secretory unit, which plays a crucial role in both digestion and oral health. Today, I'll be discussing the four main components: the acini, the intercalated duct, the striated duct, and the excretory duct, and how they work together to produce and modify saliva. Let's start with the acini. These are the functional units of the salivary gland and are made up of clusters of secretory cells. In these clusters, cells synthesize and secrete the primary saliva, which is an isotonic fluid. The acini are highly specialized. They produce enzymes such as amylase and other proteins, which are vital for the early stages of digestion. Think of the acini as the factories where the raw materials for saliva are first produced. Once saliva is generated by the acinar cells, it's transported into the intercalated ducts. The intercalated ducts are very small, lined with cuboidal cells that are connected by tight junctions. These junctions ensure that the saliva doesn't leak out prematurely and that the composition of the fluid remains consistent as it begins its journey through the gland. While the cells in the intercalated ducts are not heavily involved in modifying the saliva's electrolyte content, they play a key role in the initial transport and early stage regulation of the fluid. Next, the saliva passes into the striated ducts, which is where significant modification occurs. The cells of the striated ducts are distinct. They display a characteristic striated appearance because of the high number of mitochondria and enfoldings along their basal membrane. These structural features enable active transport mechanisms, where ions like sodium and chloride are reabsorbed from the saliva, while potassium and bicarbonate are secreted. This process makes the saliva hypotonic compared to the primary fluid secreted by the acini, a change that is critical for maintaining the proper osmolarity. In a way, you could think of the striated ducts as a fine-tuning station that adjusts the saliva's composition to suit the needs of the oral cavity. Finally, the modified saliva flows into the excretory ducts. The excretory ducts are larger channels that eventually lead the saliva out into the oral cavity. Their primary role is essentially to serve as conduits, though they can also provide additional buffering or minor alterations in the saliva as needed. The smooth muscle elements and the lining of the excretory duct ensure that saliva is delivered efficiently and effectively during stimulation, like when you're eating or even thinking about food. Understanding the intricate details of these structures not only gives us insight into normal gland function, but also helps us diagnose and treat various disorders that can affect saliva production. For instance, pathologies that impair any part of the secretory unit, whether it's the acinar cells not producing enough enzymes or the ducts failing to modify the saliva correctly, can lead to conditions like dry mouth or salivary gland infections. For advanced medical students, grasping the interrelationship between these components is essential for appreciating both the normal physiology and the clinical aspects of salivary gland function. Throughout this explanation, I've aimed to offer a detailed yet conversational overview of how the salivary gland secretory unit operates. I've discussed how each segment is specialized, starting from saliva production in the acini, preliminary transport in the intercalated ducts, active ion modification in the striated ducts, and finally, the delivery through the excretory ducts. I hope this gives you a clear understanding of the dynamic and cooperative nature of these structures, and why each step is crucial for effective digestion and oral health.